Oh, hey, what are you doing? Hey, whoa. Don't need to see this one.
My name's Aaron Gibbons and I'm an illustrator, graphic designer and artist from Liverpool in the United Kingdom. I do a lot of illustration for publications, fashion brands, a lot of apparel design, so illustrations for t-shirts, streetwear. I've been working under the name Grveyardshft for a couple of years now. I've been freelancing for about 4 years. Grveyardshft came about because I was working on a variety of different projects and I felt like it wasn't personal work, it wasn't a direct reflection of myself, so it made more sense to work under a name, sort of like a studio, where I could work on different projects in different styles. There was never really anything else I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to draw and I knew I wanted to do it full time. I just didn't know what that meant really. It wasn't until I got to university and college and stuff like that that illustration even came up. And instantly I knew that that was what I wanted to do. So I left university, got a part-time job and just started freelancing on the side. And eventually got enough clients and stuff like that so that I could leave and do it full time. I decided on the name Grveyardshft because Liverpool's a very working class city and I wanted to approach my design and illustration in the same way. It doesn't really matter like what time of the day it is. If I've got something to work on, I'll work on it. And that's usually like late nights, especially for overseas clients and stuff like that. So Grveyardshft just made sense because I'm putting that same work in that blue collar workers have put in for years in this city. I didn't really know what I wanted to settle on. I like to do a bit of everything. So it was never just, I'm going to illustrate in this style. It was always, I just want to work on stuff that I enjoy working on, whether that's graphic design, whether that's illustration, whether it's painting, whether it's murals. For this StickerApp job, I knew I had to do something relating to football, especially because I've worked on a lot of football related jobs since I've been freelance. I've worked for brands like Killer Villa, who do hip-hop inspired jerseys. I made a custom football jersey for a studio in London. Did a lot of work for Soccer Bible, so football was just something I had to work on. So for StickerApp, I decided to create stickers based on being a kid in Liverpool or just being a kid in the UK in general and what football sort of like meant to you as a child. I wanted to make a variety of stickers that sort of like emphasised things about football that aren't so obvious. So things like creating goals and pictures out of stuff you'd find in the street, like traffic cones and hoodies, cans, bottles. You'd literally use anything you could just to have a game of football. Other things like wearing your trainees out that your mum and dad just bought you. You'd use it to like stop your bike and you'd use it to kick a ball about so that you'd end up with holes in, but you didn't care. For the final sticker set, I made 17 die-cut glossy stickers which all relate to being a kid in Liverpool and growing up with football. And they come in this custom pack with a custom header. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, like the no ball game signs that you'd find around the city and everyone would just fully ignore. And then you've got ones that are a bit more scouse, like goalie when Ness, which was a game we'd play when we were kids when you didn't have enough players. So you'd just say whoever was closest to the goal is the goalie and shout goalie when Ness. And that sort of made the handball rule not apply to you, stuff like that. And then we've just got some smiley faces on footies because everyone loves a smiley and you've got to give the people what they want. This one's about Kirby, where you'd kick or throw the ball at a curb and see how many times you could hit it with it bouncing back to you. Heads and vols, or heads and volleys, another game you'd play on the playground or in the street, trying to keep it off the floor as much as you can. I was a bit worried, to be honest, about the colour reproduction because magenta doesn't usually print that well, but StickerApp have done an amazing job getting the colours super bright. When approaching designing the stickers, I knew I wanted it to be football related and I wanted it to have that like childhood aspect and be quite joyful and colourful and stuff like that, and not too serious. So I start with sketching ideas out. I used to do a lot of work on the Cintiq but I found since getting the iPad that I really like how this feels. It feels natural. It feels like drawing on the floor when I was a kid, because I can take it anywhere. I can draw on it when I'm sitting watching the telly. But once I've created the sketch, I usually drop the opacity, and then I'll just use a simple line brush to get the shapes and the outlines of the stickers. I wanted these to be quite bold, so I initially started with a strong black outline, trying to keep it super neat. Eventually, I like to make the background a solid colour, so that it just gives me a better idea of how the filled shapes will look in colour. So usually just fill this in with a brush behind the line work. So once my designs were finished, simply use the lasso tool to give it a nice bold outline. Yeah, so I'm super happy with how they came out. Hopefully it's a good representation of being a kid in Liverpool. And obviously the medium of stickers is amazing for artists like me to get your name out there, and it just gives something for people to pick up and customise their own things and use your work in an interesting way. So it's always good to make stickers, and these ones turned out great.